Hi, this is Victor Antonio with another Sales Influence Moment. A few months back, I had the wonderful opportunity of sitting in a seminar called Neuromarketing put on by Christopher Morin and Patrick Renoise. The book is called Neuromarketing. I suggest you get it. Now, in that presentation, in that seminar, I learned something very important from them that I want to share with you on the attention span of a listener as they're listening to a presentation. And they came up with something very interesting, a graph that I want to chart out for you real quickly. And basically, on the vertical axis, here we have attention. In other words, this is the attention span of the actual listener. Along here, the x-axis, we have time. Now, what they've pretty much stated is that typically when you start out a presentation, people are listening 100% of the time, right? As you start out a presentation, somebody's listening to you 100% of the time. But what happens as you continue on your presentation? Most people, if it's a horrible presentation, attention span will decline over time, and guess what? That is a horrible presentation. By the time you get done with your presentation, the audience has low attention span, which means they're not really listening anymore. Another type of presentation starts out with high attention, then kind of drops, and then somewhere here, maybe the speaker says something like, well, now let me go ahead and summarize all the things I've talked about. And at that point, you kind of perk up. And all of a sudden, the curve goes up because you know that the speaker is ending. But pretty much, they've missed everything in the middle. So what is the ideal presentation graph supposed to look like? Here's what they've suggested. That at 100% is what you want somebody to pay attention, always at 100%. But for an individual like myself and you, to pay attention 100% of the time is very hard. What typically happens is that our attention span will drop a little bit, just drop. And then what you do is you need something to kind of push them back up. You need something to kick them back up. And then they'll listen for a while, then their attention will drop again, listen for a while, drop again. And this is the ideal graph for the attention span. Now, here's the important part. Right here, where you have to kick them back up, this is called a pattern, now I'll write this out, interrupt. And a pattern interrupt is essentially something you say, something you do, something you show to basically bring the crowd back in, to actually jack up their attention span. So for example, we're talking for a while and all of a sudden we introduce maybe a demo. So we introduce the demo, then we continue talking. And the attention span goes up when we show the demo, but then it starts to die again. Then maybe this time you can do an exercise. And all of a sudden, because you're asking them to do something, engaging them, the attention span goes back up. But after a while, you're talking, it starts dying again. Maybe this time you have to ask them a key question. You make them answer a question, their attention span goes back up. What's the point? If you just talk, attention span could drop over time, especially if it's not exciting material. Sometimes we do a presentation, we have so much information that people start out listening, but their attention wanes as the presentation goes on, and maybe towards the end it just kind of peaks back up because they know you're wrapping up. But the best presentation, the best of the best, is when you can actually keep their attention high, even if it dips a little bit. Once it dips a little bit, you insert a pattern interrupt to kind of what? Move them back up and keep their attention span, let's call it between the 80 and 100% range. Do this and you'll be very effective in how you present. This is Victor Antonio with another Sales Influence Moment reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.